Good evening and welcome again to the Marty Heiser Show. You know, we have an incredible show tonight. I like to look at it like a flower followed by some thorns and then some other thorns. And when you meet my first guest, I think you'll understand the idea of we're starting with the flower and then we move to the thorns. By thorns, I mean guys like Dave Straight and Larry Ditkoff, and we're going to get into politics and talk about that kind of stuff. But we have a wonderful show for you today. The first thing I want to talk about, though, briefly, is this past week. I think you saw the best that America has to offer and the worst that America has to offer. By the best, I would say the Olympics. The Olympic coverage, when I looked at some of those young ladies that were in the women's gymnastics team, and the way that they performed with grace under pressure, and the way how they won some and lost some, and they encouraged their fellow competitors, and the way that they just picked themselves off when they were down and they triumphed later. That little girl Gabby was just incredible, and the whole team. It brought me back to the 1980 Olympic hockey team. And I thought, you know, America right now is kind of at a low ebb. This recession seems to grind on. Politics seems to be more contentious than ever. And I was hoping that maybe these Olympics, that women's Olympic team, could spark something. Also, the women's soccer team, they defeated the Japanese, which they lost to earlier in the World Cup. The women's beach volleyball team, these ladies are in shape. And the final was between the one American team versus the other American team. One was going to get the gold, the other silver, and it was just encouraging to see that. Michael Phelps and just these wonderful sprinters. Each one was more beautiful than the next. Hard-working, dedicated Americans, and I was just couldn't have been more proud to be an American when I saw that. Now I compare and contrast that with what's going on in politics right now. You know, there's a guy running for president named Mitt Romney. And over the past week, we've seen him called a guy who contributed to the death of a woman who died of cancer. We had the head of the Democrats in the U.S. Senate say that Mitt Romney hadn't paid his taxes in 12 years, and he based this on word has it. You know, I went to Washington, D.C. as a junior high student from Illinois. And when I go there, I see the grandeur of the Supreme Court and the Capitol building and everything else. And I'm just kind of thinking that, wow, this is America. You know, these are important people doing important things. And then you see the head of the Senate, Harry Reid, come off with just completely unsubstantiated claims and just spouting them off. It's a little depressing when I see the dialogue that's going on in politics right now. You see it also in the news. The terrible slaying out in Colorado, and right off the bat, ABC News says, "Oh, I understand that this guy's a member of the Tea Party." He wasn't. They're just spouting off. Same thing with the shooting down in Florida, terrible shooting, where Zimmerman shot that turned out to be unarmed man. Right off the bat, they're trying to describe it as a racial thing, and NBC edits the tape. Anyways, this past week, you saw the best that America had to offer with the Olympics and the way those kids competed and just did a wonderful job. And I think with the political discord, unfortunately, especially as reported by the mainstream media, you've seen the worst that there is in America. But that's just my rant for this evening. But I want to start with a very good friend of mine, Christian Jensen. You're joining us on the set, and I'm just thrilled to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
My wife wanted me to make sure she said hello, so I'm so glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're obviously very pretty, and you've had a career in modeling, and now you've gone into the other side of the camera. Just give us a quick synopsis of how that all came about.
I started modeling when I was 18 years old, and I was scouted by an agent from Paris, and they flew me to Paris to do the shows, the collections that happen every winter in Paris. And I was supposed to stay for 6 weeks, and I basically never came home.
You stayed in Paris? How long were you in Paris?
I was in Paris. Well, I was in Europe. I worked in Europe for about 20 years.
Is that
as a model? Yeah. And then I based myself out of New York City. I was with Ford Models. And then I did television commercials, and I was on a soap opera for a while. Okay. I've done a feature film, episodic TV.
Okay, so now for those young girls that are watching tonight,
yeah,
and they want to have a career in modeling, you say you were just discovered? Was this, I mean, were you on a... Now I'm on the other side of the camera, but yeah, I never really was comfortable modeling. Okay. And I just, you know, I'd be looking at the clock or when, you know,
Are people really taking my picture?
Yeah.
I just never really liked it that much.
Yeah.
Never really that comfortable with it. But it was sort of like I was discovered. My mother really pushed me to do it.
Okay.
And friends of my family, and they said, go ahead and try it. And that was in San Francisco.
Okay, so you started in San. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you appreciate that with your mother? Was this something that, was she a real stage mom? Get out there. I'm living my life through you. No. I don't mean to psychoanalyze.
But yeah. Oh no, let's go. Let's start. No, she wasn't a. I guess she just wanted me to. She really wanted me to travel. I was born in Europe. My father was in the service. I was born in Berlin, Germany, and spent the first 6 years of my life in Europe, traveling. So, going back to Europe again, it really does feel like home to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did your modeling career, and then you got into acting and things like that. But now you started your own business, and you're doing. Well, tell us what you're doing.
I started my own business, and this summer, actually exactly 9 years ago, the summer of 2003 in Ridgefield, and I started a business, Kristen Jensen Photography. And I basically, the way I started my business was for the first 6 to 9 months, I shot everything for free.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it was grassroots. You name it. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, kids. I mean,
aspiring, ill-advised fledgling politicians too.
Yes.
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah. Was that one of your first things
gosh.
with
you
the
know
horse
what?
and everything else?
That would have been 2004.
2003. I know it well because
that was when I first started.
Yeah. That's when I
But
ran.
it seemed like I was doing it forever, right?
That's when I ran for first selectman, and Rudy Marconi basically cleaned my clock. Something about Democratic competence versus Republican vision. But anyways, all right. So you've done that, but then your business has evolved. And by the way, I think we have the website up there. If people want to learn more about it, christianjensen.com. They can see some of your work and videography. You mentioned earlier, because part of the show we talk about politics, but you also did some videos for Chris Shays and Mark Greenberg and some others.
Actually, I've been doing stills for their campaigns this year. But I photograph. Basically, I specialize in people and making people look great.
Well,
so
I've seen your work both in front of and behind the camera, and I think you do a great job. Now, your son Noah is also in the studio. Noah, does your mom do a good job? He's nodding. Yes, that's good.
He's now my worker bee.
I know.
He's my assistant. He's my number one assistant.
We may be violating some child labor laws, but he has a camera and he's shooting this too, so that's good. Okay, now what caught my attention was an email that you had sent out with a video clip talking about this type of cancer, and a friend of yours that has this and what he's trying to do. Give us a little background on that.
I was hired by somebody in New York City whose best friend is Richard Abramson, who was diagnosed last April with multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer. Okay. He is a huge guy. He's one of those kind of people that walk in a room and everybody smiles. I mean, he's just probably the most likable guy you'd ever meet. And what his passion in life has always been, his passion is swimming. So that's how that's the connection with these guys. So the video that we're doing is it's actually a documentary. What you saw and what we'll show shortly is a 2-minute piece on just the awareness of and raising money for the awareness of this blood cancer. And the swim that we actually raised the money for was just this last Saturday. So Richard is with 5 other guys. They all are like triathlete kind of guys. They're like totally type A, AAA kind of guys.
How long is a swim around Manhattan?
Well, we started...
I mean, driving around Manhattan takes time. I can only imagine swimming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we started... we actually boarded the boat at 7:30 in the morning. We started at 8, which was down by Battery Park. Okay. Near the
now,
right down.
Were you on the boat or were you swimming too?
Oh no, no.
You were like monitoring the thing.
I didn't want to get in that river.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit.
So how long is it?
Well, they relay, so they do half hour.
Oh, okay.
So one guy goes in, one guy, and it took about 8 hours.
Okay, now with our crack AV team, we're going to cue this up, and you need the mic on there as well. Okay, so we're going to cut to that, and they have the mic set up, so we're going to be seeing this video. And the guy's name is Richard Abramson.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're going to be able to have a website where people can donate to.
Never give up. A year ago, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and which is cancer of the blood. And We spent 11 months on chemo trying to battle it, and we have, for the last 2 months, I've been in remission now, and we hope to stay there for a while. It's a cancer that you don't cure, it's a cancer you treat, and the drugs keep you alive, and I'm doing quite well on it. When I swam as a kid, my first swim meet was at 7 years of age. Having gone to the Air Force Academy and surviving that, nothing was going to be difficult after that.
Well, first of all, I've come to realize that swimming is much more, for Richard, it's much more than just a physical activity. It's really, it's therapeutic for him. No matter how bad he feels, he goes for a swim, he comes back, he's rejuvenated.
No one I would rather have in that role. If I had to trust my life to somebody, it would be Richie in his custom-made wetsuit.
The strategy that we're choosing to pursue is vaccines, to train the patient's own immune system to recognize myeloma cells as being foreign and kill them.
I think that, and because of the support and the love that he's getting, I really think that that helps a person through any difficult time. So I'm hoping that this swim around Manhattan Island will raise awareness and raise funds so that the doctors continue doing their research and helping people like Richard.
So if we have strategies that work against myeloma, they could potentially be applicable in other diseases as well.
Not giving up, which is, I think, very important in a lot of things that we do in life, is not giving up.
That is quite a compelling story. What was it like being on the boat and seeing these guys relay? How many swimmers were there?
There were 6 swimmers. They brought a couple guests. They had it catered, and I had a crew of like 5 people, and 2 cameramen. And it was really amazing that Richard was able to swim. Yeah. He's in a remission right now, but he's still getting dialysis and chemo every week. But he swam almost 330 minutes. Wow. Yeah.
And what's the prognosis? Is there a cure? Are there treatments?
There is not a cure, but they've been working on a vaccine, and so they're just looking for more funding. If they found this, if they could do this vaccine, it's going to actually help a lot of other cures for other cancers too.
And you're making a documentary based on the footage that you got from here, and you're doing it. Okay, and we have. Can they go through your website, or is there a website that they can go to directly?
You know what? It's gonna be on my blog on my website. So the best thing would probably just go to KristenJensen.com and find it that way.
Well, listen, Noah, can you just come on here 1 second? Come on out here, Noah. He's a handsome young man. Sit right here, stand right next to your mom. And we're just going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it. And you're playing football now?
Maybe.
Really? All right. And is that your favorite team, the Carolina Panthers, or you just got the jersey?
I just like Cam Newton.
You just like Cam Newton? Now, he had a great year. He was a rookie last year, and he, was incredible.
Yeah.
All right, good. Any love for the Chicago Bears? Anything? Oh, no? Oh, that's a team you got to consider.
Giants.
The Giants. You like the Giants? Yeah, well, got to do that. Christian, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. The website is on there as well. Christian Jensen has been my guest, and when you go there, click on this this documentary that's going to be coming up regarding this type of blood cancer, and please consider donating towards it. It's a great event. Thanks again for coming in.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to come right back. It was interesting. This past week, our crack crew, Dave Straight and myself, were down at the rally outside of where President Obama was speaking. And this was down in Stamford. And we met some very interesting people at the Tea Party rally. Now, of course, the Tea Party has always been sort of had a bad reputation as being marginally racist, a little bit anti-immigration. And with that as a background, it was very, very interesting to see some of the people that we met and talked to. So what we're going to do right now is go to some of this video clip. This was down at the Stanford Hotel right outside of Marriott on the Post Road in Stanford, Monday, outside of where President Barack Obama was speaking.
2007 senatorial record. I looked it up a long time ago when they wanted him to speak at Rick Warren's church. And some of the congregants didn't want him. And I said, I wonder why. So I was just learning the computer and looked up that 2007 senatorial record, and then I knew why. Because he supported Planned Parenthood. He was against English being the official language of America. He voted against anyone being prosecuted for desecrating the American flag. He voted 100% for partial birth abortion, etc. He was more liberal than Hillary Clinton. Now listen, we're at the brink. We're right at the cliff. And if we don't make a change, God help us. Well, we need God's help anyway to bring us back from the brink of disaster. Because we don't want government, as someone has said, telling you what kind of car you should drive. I don't want anyone telling me how cold or how hot my house should be. I don't want to go before any death panels to decide whether or not I should get whatever I may need or a pill to die. I don't want you telling me what kind of light bulbs. I don't have enough intelligence to be able to tell what kind of light bulbs I like. That's an insult to the average American. He acts like we're a bunch of idiots. And we're not, because we built this country. We're the ones who did it, not him. He was somewhere in Indonesia, somewhere in Hawaii, which Hawaii is now part of the 57 states that he said they did. Yeah. But I've been here and my friends and my program taught me how to work. And I've been working. But as far as I'm retired now, but still work. But we built this country. We're the ones who contribute. We're the ones when disaster happens, we go into our parks and our purses. We're the ones that feed the homeless. We're the ones that provide shelter. We're the ones who put clothes on those children's backs.
Dave, you're right. You should have looser gun controls.
We're tired, and we're tired of the insult, and we're going to get rid of him.
Just because she doesn't fit a mold?
God bless you. God bless. God bless America.
But if she was doing an anti-Bush rag, you'd love her.
Well, we're here
She's an
at
idiot.
the Tea Party rally, and as you can tell, there's a lot of interest in this group. Pretty animated, and we're going to try and meet some of these people. Welcome to the Marty Heiser program.
Marty, this looks great. Looks great.
All right, well, you just got a little flavor from Barbara. She gave a speech out here. We're in front of the Marriott Hotel in Stanford. President Obama is coming down to speak, and there are people here that have something to say.
Yes.
Including Barbara. So, Barbara, what brought you down here today?
Well, I was invited from the Westchester Tea Party. They told me about it, and I could make it.
Okay. That's sometimes the Tea Party's been accused of being racist, and that way it doesn't seem to me like the Tea Party's very racist based on what you were saying.
I have never experienced any racism, and I'm 80% black. The other part Cherokee and Blackfoot Indian.
And what are some of the issues that you think are animating you and animating the people down here, and why they want to see change at the top and change in the direction the government's going?
Because we're not socialists here. He's taking over too many businesses. He's trying to control our lives, and we don't want that. And we're not happy with what he's doing with all of this spending, giving all of this money to these green projects, the Egyptian Brotherhood and all of that. We don't want any of that. We don't want that. And he's not a friend to our allies. Israel or Britain, he treats them terribly. He's not fit. And Poland, he's not fit to be our president.
All right, well, I really appreciate your speech very much. We're going to try and get it on television. Now, you're running for Congress.
Yes, I am.
And you're looking for some of these votes as well. Give us your name and where you're running.
My name is Wayne Winsley. I am the Republican nominee in Connecticut's 3rd District, running against the oh-so-liberal Rosa DeLauro.
Now, the 3rd District, that tends to vote Democratic, usually. What are you looking to make some inroads in some of those voting districts?
What I'm finding is that even some what I call habitual Democrats are tired of the direction that our country is going. They are tired of some of these incumbents that are constantly picking the American people's pockets and returning nothing in return.
Listen, thank you very much for coming on. I'll tell you,
I do have to say that I found it a little ironic that you were asking, about, allegations that the Tea Party is racist, and the two people in front of you are both black.
Yeah,
supporters. A little ironic, don't you think?
I couldn't help but noticing that myself. I happen to be half German and half Irish, but there seems to be something that's bonding us together.
Absolutely.
We are all Americans.
That's right.
And we are all united in freedom.
Listen, thank you very much. It's a very animated group, by all means.
Of the Westchester Tea Party, who invited me here.
Well, thank you very much. What's your name, and tell us a little bit about the Westchester Tea Party.
My name is Cornelia Rose. We invited Barbara to our monthly meeting last Saturday, and she gave a riveting speech. She is a wonderful speaker. She's a great person, and we invited her to come here and fire people up. It's great to have her here with us.
Well, what's going on in Westchester? Now, Westchester tends to be a fairly democratic place too. How are the Tea Party making inroads in Westchester County?
Well, the Tea Party is doing very well in Westchester. Our Tea Party we have about 130 members, and they're from all over Westchester, from Yonkers all the way up to North Salem.
The congressman here, a future congressman, finds it ironic. Sometimes the Tea Party is accused of being anti-immigrant. You seem to be new to our shores as well. What do you say about anti-immigrant as far as the Tea Party?
I think that is complete rubbish. I mean, I find it amazing. Look, I became an American citizen in 2010. I'm from Germany. And I find it amazing how welcoming people are, how tolerant they are, and that I, of all people, speaking with an accent, am allowed to be, one of the leaders of the Westchester County Tea Party.
Yes.
Amazing people. I must say, I've lived in several countries. I've lived in Germany, I've lived in the UK for 9 years, and now in America for almost 10 years. I don't know any country in the world where people generally are as tolerant and as open-minded as in the United States of America. It's a great country.
Well, there you have it. Is the Tea Party racist? I think they would say no. Is the Tea Party anti-immigrant?
Yes, I'm from Germany.
No.
Aber ich sage genau nein, die Tea Party ist nicht anti-immigrant. So, vielen Dank. Okay, could you have a minute? All right, so what brings you out to the rally today, and what's your name?
I am Roy, Dilip Roy. I am just here from India, and I am amazed to see, in fact, what she said, I 100% endorse that. I am surprised how welcoming these people are. Anybody comes, no questions. So, in fact, what I mean is, that world is also an organization. The whole world is also an organization. If you have to run the world, there has to be a structure, organizational structure, and America is right on top of that.
Well, listen, you're from India. She's originally from Germany, and Barbara, the keynote speaker, is from Harlem. We're here at the Tea Party rally. There's a lot of energy out here, and I don't even think the president has arrived. But I don't think the Tea Party is anti-immigrant, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and certainly isn't racist. I just think these people want freedom. Is that right? Yeah! Stay tuned. We'll bring you some more information. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Boris Popovich, WKGB News, Chief Propaganda Minister. If any of you find my Soviet hat, bring it back. Apparently some crazy Christians beat us up a few months ago and took them. Yuri Traitorov is recovering from injuries. Yes, before I fall and break my neck here, it's Tanya's sabotage stage. We want to do a quick PSA. We have a flag at whitehouse.gov up. Please turn yourselves in now. We have police. You can turn yourself in across the street. You, wait a minute. Give me your money. This man is hit you with this chicken fillet. This man is trying to mug me with Chick-fil-A sandwich. What is wrong with you? Are you radicalized Christian, sir? No. You're not radicalized Christian. Listen, folks. In 2013, we have new agenda to disarm radical extremists. We'll do this right now. Don't eat this. This make you fat and sick. Chick-fil-A. Get this out of here, please. We teach new program because we have new gun initiative in 2013. First thing you do when someone tries to mug you, you turn to them and say, sir, I am not Republican or teabagger. You do not have to hate me, hate George Bush. George Bush did this to you, okay? Don't hate me. You can put weapon down. You have to hate George Bush. It is his fault. The other thing you do, sir, come here. Before you go, we don't have job for you, but we give hug. That is what we do in new era. Listen, folks, we don't need guns. Don't listen to propaganda on TV. You don't need guns. We will take them from you. The police and the army will have them, and they will protect you. We promise. We promise. Don't start booing me. We don't. No. I already lost half, and there's only one, no security. You know something? I better get out of here before I get it.
Here with Mike from Trumbull. Let me just go through this. You got a shirt with a snake on, you got a hat, and you got tea. Can you tie this all together for us and what it represents and what brought you out here when the president's about to speak?
Well, the tricorn hat, of course, would indicate excuse me, what people were wearing when this country became free, when we broke free from England. And the tea, of course, is the tea bag. I don't know if I'm having the right one or not.
You got it right there.
The tea bag, of course, indicates the Tea Party, and that was a stimulus to people to revolt against the king, or actually revolt against oppression, and it's still a symbol of that today. We're revolting against oppression. The oppressive taxes, for example, that are being put upon us.
Do you think when the Supreme Court made a ruling that Obamacare wasn't a penalty, but it was actually a tax, and that if you look at it like a tax, it's the largest tax increase in the history of our country, what were your thoughts when you first heard that come down?
I was incredulous. I could not believe the Supreme Court considers that to be a tax, when in fact it is. If you do not comply, you pay the $2,000, which is then a penalty, not a tax. I cannot understand their logic. I've read it a couple of times. I don't understand it.
First name?
Charlie.
Jolly?
No, Charlie.
Charlie. What's your first name?
Manny.
Manny?
Ask him his last name.
Charlie and Manny.
What's your last name?
McCarthy. Charlie.
You have trouble with your hearing. Or my speech?
McCarthy.
I got a Bronx accent. That's what it is.
McCarthy.
Charlie McCarthy.
Charlie McCarthy.
Edgar Bergen, Charlie McCarthy. He's too young.
No.
You've never heard of him.
He's too young.
Okay, Charlie and Manny. Okay.
I got you.
Hold on one second.
There's our father over there.
Okay.
Godfather.
Okay, really. All right, yeah, if you want to hold up your signs, that's fine. All right, Manny, Charlie. Okay, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We're here with Charlie and Manny. Now, you two seem like fine American citizens. What brings you down here on a sunny day to join this rabble-rousers, and what's bringing you down here?
It was a mistake that we got here. Only kidding. We wanted to come down because we support Tea Party, and we want to get rid of this guy that's in there now, Mr. Obama, because he's not doing the job correctly. He went to Harvard, never had a job in his life as far as I know, and these are working men here. Working men and women had jobs. They're paying their bills. They're not taking anything off the system. He did it all his life. Now he's giving our money away, too.
Okay, we're here with Peter, Sheila, and Liz. And you guys you don't seem like the kind of, I don't know, crazy hippie protester types. You seem kind of like suburban gentlemen and gentle ladies. What brings you out here today?
I think the United States are on the path of all great empires which got destroyed from within. And that's what we have to try to avoid.
All right, now I see you have Obama, November 6, 2012. What brought you out here today?
Main reason is my son is in the military and I want to change his commander-in-chief badly.
I find it somewhat ironic because some have said that the Tea Party is anti-immigrant, but I sent a slight accent in both these cases. What country are you from originally?
I'm German.
And what about you?
I'm English and I know all about socialized medicine, and we do not want it here.
I find that funny too. Most people that live, like my wife's from Canada, same thing. They say, oh, Obamacare, everyone's going to take care of everything. What actually happens when the government, the same people that run the DMV, run your health care? What happens?
Two-tier system in England. The people who can afford it to have private health care, and everybody else is stuck with the national health system, which is bankrupt.
All right, now what brings you out here today? You don't seem like a revolutionary. You seem quite harmless, but you're out here with a flag. What's going on?
Well, my forefathers came over here in the Revolutionary War, believe it or not. And I'm worried about the freedom of my country for my children. I have 4 children, one also in Afghanistan right now. And I think the government is taking too much power away from the people. And it scares me to death for my children. I tell them, I have a good life. It's your life I'm worried about. And that's why I protest. So.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, there seem to be some common denominators here. A lot of folks that weren't born in America are here. They know a little bit about socialism, and they don't want to see it going their way. Thanks so much, and good luck with your rally.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. We're gonna
Go back on camera 3 again if we can for a second.
Yeah, to the scroll that's going on right now. If there's any way we could do that, that'd be great. There we go. I firmly believe. Well, that's Ben Franklin. Dave, could you just tell us what those quotes were? You had one quote from Ben Franklin and then another quote from.
Yeah, it was too long. I couldn't memorize that. It was too long.
Yeah. Give us the gist of it, though.
You call it up here, and I'll hand me my computer, and I'll read it to you while we're talking about this.
Okay.
So,
what did you think of the rally? What did you think of what you saw there? By the way, we're joined by now a somewhat famous commentator, Larry Ditkoff.
Good to see you, Marty.
Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Marty.
And Dave, what was your reaction to the Tea Party?
Well, you know, it was interesting when I first went down there, and I was waiting for you, Marty.
Oh, you were there?
Oh yeah. Well, I was the camera guy.
Oh.
Now Marty makes sure I don't talk to anybody because I screw things up. But that's okay. I usually mug the people. Then Marty goes, "See, that's where I come in. Let me handle that in the future." It's okay. So anyway, I walked up and down this group of people.
Yes.
And when I tell you that they weed out people very, very quickly there. In other words, if you want to stand up on that podium and speak, they want to know you. They want to see what you're going to say. They really do not want people to screw up in front of a camera.
Right.
All the media was there to try and catch people doing something stupid and crazy. Now contrast this with an Occupy Wall Street movement where people are defecating on cars, there's rape, there's crime, there's theft, there's abuse. I mean, that was the lowest of mankind compared to this. Now, the media always tries to present these Tea Party gatherings in a bad light. And they always try and say, oh, they're racist. Well, you know what? The first person that accuses the other person of race wins, right? So they always accuse the Tea Party of being racist. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. And you heard it there. Now, this is what really intrigues me. Yesterday, there was an abortion doctor that was confronted at his home. Now, this is a large, he's a Democrat, and he's a large donor to the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. Now, so they go up to the door, and they knock on the door, and the doctor says, his abortions save taxpayers money, prevent shootings like the one in Colorado, and rid the world of ugly black babies. Now,
What's your source?
That was the Examiner, Washington Examiner. I mean, you can call up the YouTube video. If we had live feed here, you'd see the video. That is exactly what he said. Okay. Now, where is the outrage by the left? Where is the outrage picking on these people for being racist? That's the most racist statement a person can make.
Caller, you're on the air. Did you see the video from the Tea Party rally, and what did you think?
I saw the video, and I wasn't impressed. But what I really want to know is how many people not Act for Progress, but for the Koch brothers. How many people were there? Act for Prosperity. How many people from the Koch brothers organization were at the rally? And how well do you know about what the Koch brothers are doing and how they're trying to buy this country? And also, the guy that started talking about Occupy Wall Street, for him to come out with these accusations saying that they were shitting on cars and they
I don't think you can say that on TV, but go ahead.
The FCC.
Go ahead.
But you know what I'm saying? For him to make accusations like that, where is he getting his information from? It sounds like he's watching Fox News and he's just repeating everything.
All right, well, he's right. He's right here. He's listening to everything he said. All right, stay on the line. I'll ask him to respond. What about that?
Okay.
Where are you getting? That's why I wanted your source on this killing black babies.
And I'm calling it up right now. So, so let me answer two things. Number one, I can only hope that Charles and David Koch were helping sponsor this. Now, I don't have any reason to think they were. But I've answered this guy's comments before regarding the Koch brothers. Those are the finest Americans in America.
Oh my God.
They are.
Oh my God.
They are.
The Koch brothers?
By far.
The Koch brothers? Dave,
Do I stutter?
No, I am now.
Are you at a loss for words?
Yes. The Koch brothers
Do you know
are
them?
fundamental.
Do you know them?
I know what they stand
Do
for.
you know
I
them?
know what
Do you know them?
Dave, I know enough.
Go ahead, Larry.
I know enough.
I know them.
Yeah.
right,
Oh,
Marty,
gee, Dave, well, there it is right
So,
there.
what you're
Okay,
what
here's
you're
the point.
relying on
The
is
Koch bro-
We have
the
two
Koch
adult
brothers-
males flabbergasted at each other, and
the
they're
Koch
just
brothers are the
make a
funniest
comment.
The
Go
Koch
ahead.
brothers have been all about,
Marty,
all they
Rich.
really care about is protecting their own interests. They're so geared towards coal, which, anything having to do with any kind of alternative energy, any kind of, we should help generate some sort of alternative energy to
Who's
feed the
one
grid.
of the largest ethanol producers in America?
The Koch brothers.
Who is one of the largest ethanol producers in America?
I'm not talking about ethanol. Ethanol is
You just brought up coal. What about ethanol?
Ethanol. What about it? The Koch.
Well, what about coal?
To say the Koch brothers without just voter suppression and all this and guns and castles sit there and say that the Koch brothers
How are the Koch brothers
finest-
tied into guns?
Who do you think funds Alec? And they have
are they tied into
this
guns?
initiative. To say the Koch brothers are the finest Americans in America is
Okay, Rich.
So
We have
let me
you on-
go to the second
Rich,
thing.
We have you
Let me
on
go
the
to the second
line.
thing
I
on
want you to-
defecating on cars.
Hold on. Rich, can you bring some balance to this discussion of the Koch brothers? They're either evil incarnate, according to the left, or great Americans that should be added to Mount Rushmore, according to Dave. What do you say?
They are the most evil people that have ever walked the face of the earth.
So you guys are drinking the same Kool-Aid.
Their father started the John Birch Society. These guys are
Is that right?
rotten
I didn't
to
know
the
that.
core.
I didn't know that about John Birch.
All right, so Dave wants to
I'm gonna go to
respond to your comment about Occupy Wall Street.
Okay, so
Go
now
ahead.
we've
You wanted to-
established that the Kochs are right next to Lincoln. So let me just tell you about defecating on cop cars. Young man, Google defecating on cop cars, Occupy Wall Street movement. They have a they have a video of this guy doing that on a cop car. It's right there.
Okay, caller, you're added to the show. Did you like the Tea Party video, or what are your thoughts?
Yes, I like that Tea Party video very much. I just had one question, though, in all seriousness. What could we say positive about President Obama and sort of what he's accomplished so far within his term? Just like one positive thing.
I've got one.
He put two in the melon of
Osama bin Laden.
Osama
Bin
bin
Laden.
Laden. He caused a new cocktail, 2 shots and a little splash of water. So I'm very glad he did that. That's one positive. Dave, Larry, you have some positive.
Well, he's certainly done more than that, Marty. He helped resurrect, or he helped at least save the domestic auto industry. He probably would have. He probably would have done more. He probably would have done more had he had a more compliant Congress.
$50 billion of taxpayer money.
David, you'll get your chance.
Yeah.
Go right ahead, Larry.
I mean, he would have done more. He could have done more if he had if he had a more compliant.
I think you said.
Yeah, a more compliant Congress.
Now, he controlled the Congress in the first 2 years, right? And the Senate and the executive branch.
No, but remember, there's filibuster.
He had 59
and let's see,
votes.
he didn't have 60 votes. He didn't get
So you're
everything.
saying he's ineffective with 2 out of 3 branches and 59 votes in the Senate?
Dave, they're setting policy and they're setting, and getting legislation through explicitly. Yeah, he has things he wants to do.
Dave, as an American,
I've got a positive here.
say a positive thing about President Obama.
Well, what I am.
And don't be facetious. Say
I'm not
something
being
really
facetious.
positive.
This is really positive. Listen, you pick up the news, read the newspapers. You'll witness and observe the abuse of women around the world. Women are taken advantage of around the world. They're treated like dogs in the Muslim community. They're
honor
raped,
killings,
killed, mutilated.
Acid poured on faces.
2 weeks ago, he came out with a program to try and raise awareness for the abuse of women. I think that is a noble cause.
Caller, do you have anything to add to this list of things that our president has done in a positive vein?
Yeah, I mean, I could obviously, Osama bin Laden is obviously one thing you can point to, but I don't like the auto industry because we don't know what would have happened if they would have failed. And for all we known, they would have come up with a better car. It could have been running on alternative fuels like you want, whatever. And by saving an inefficient company, the big three, I don't know that it really was a great thing to be done.
You know, if you look, Chrysler, even though they're private now, they just announced today they had their, the best quarter ever.
and
Yeah,
that's a good
yeah.
thing.
So
Good, maybe
yeah.
we can pay back what we loaned them.
So let's talk about the GM bailout for just a second, though.
Can we talk about? Okay, go ahead, Dave.
$50 billion of taxpayer money. The stock price has to go to $50 for us to get our money back. When they restructured the company, they put the union ahead of the bondholders. That is why people lose faith in our financial system.
Isn't GM also producing a lot of cars in China?
Well, the most
they outsource
expensive
a lot of
car in America today is the Chevy Volt at $250,000
A couple
each.
of things. Doesn't Honda produce a lot of cars in Marysville, Ohio?
Yeah, they do.
They do. I mean, so
And
you
they didn't
you have to get away from.
Doesn't Boeing produce a lot of planes in South Carolina? Oh no, that's right.
They
The
couldn't
Obama
do that.
administration, the Labor Relations Board,
The NLRB,
said that
yeah.
they couldn't because they were beholden to the unions in Seattle. Caller, do you have any other thing positive to say?
No, I just think it's sad, I guess, that the only thing we can point to in 4 years of having President Obama is basically whether or not he saved the auto industry or stopped innovation with another car, but killing Osama bin Laden making that call. I mean, don't you think, Larry, that after 4 years, we expected a little bit more out of somebody?
It's a good point.
Like I said, it's a fair point. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the comment, caller.
This is the thing. Okay, let me just break it down for you. Okay.
How fortunate
in this
for me.
election,
Yeah.
in this election,
Yeah.
okay, your guy,
Marty.
he's let me finish. Let me just
He's
finish.
our guy.
He's our guy. Okay, he is our.
But he's
president.
your hero.
Okay, okay. But let me just get my point out. Okay. Okay. We're gonna have a rule. Whoever has this pencil gets to talk. Okay.
Oh, very good, Marty.
I have the pen. This is my point. In this election, basically, you have a president. The Democrats have a president who's been in office 3.5 years. He's had all the control of the government and all his policies. He's implemented his policies. He's spent $5 trillion in stimulus, and it hasn't worked. So now in this election, he's not running on, hey, look, this is the good stuff I've done. Let's not switch horses midstream here. I'm your guy. He doesn't have that. All he has is, let's run billions of dollars of ad that Mitt Romney somehow caused this woman to die of cancer because some steel in the steel.
Yeah, I know.
And he wasn't even in the company for 6 years. And this lady died 6 years after the plant closed, and she had health care.
You know, Marty,
and if that wasn't bad enough, you got your senator, the head of the Senate, in saying that he didn't pay taxes for 12 years.
Well, you want to
libels. So this is the point. Your guy can't run on a record because he's got butkus.
Okay.
He doesn't got anything except he did kill Osama bin Laden.
Marty,
you get the pencil, so now you talk.
Were you trying to speak Yiddish? Because if you were, it's Bupkis.
Bupkis?
Bupkis was a former linebacker for the Bears.
Number 51.
They won. All right.
Quite the monsters of the Midway.
You know,
reminds me of a song.
Marty, if you want
down Chicago Bears. Okay, sorry,
if you want to, I have the pen. If you want to cry about politics, Marty, sure, there's a ladies' room down the hall. I mean, you want to complain about the ads.
That was vaguely sexist, but go ahead.
I'm offended by that, really.
I'm offended, too. Why? Are you saying women are more emotional than men? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Marty, if you're offended, I guess, well, when we're offended, we respond with kindness. 1 Corinthians 4:13. You might want to remember that.
Stick to the point.
Okay, I'm trying to get to the point. That.
Caller, are you there?
No, but getting.
Caller.
What about all the ads about Obama? He's not an American. He's not one of us. Dave, hold on. No, I'm saying if you're gonna complain, don't complain about political advertisements. That's a system. That's a system that we have.
But
as
so
for
you're okay
Romney,
with deceit and dishonesty, then? I mean, it's okay. So
Dave,
as long as it's political.
oh my Lord,
okay,
Dave.
So when his campaign manager comes out today and says, "Oh, that ad, we had nothing to do with it. It was a political action committee ad. We had nothing to do with it," and then Fox News hears her on a recorded call 2 months earlier talking to this guy. It's obvious they were duplicitous.
So Fox,
they were working together.
Well, certainly, if Fox is what was that ad put out? I haven't seen the ad. I know it's about, but I mean, was that put out by a super PAC? Was that put out by?
It was put out by a super PAC.
Okay, it was Priorities USA probably. So I mean, that's.
Caller, can you add
may want to blame
anything
the Supreme
this
Court.
Hyper discussion here before one of us pops a blood vessel? You're coming right back, but caller, go right ahead. Caller, are you there? Yes, go right ahead. Do you have something to add? You gotta turn down your television. This is cutting edge television. This is your big chance.
I'm just getting a busy signal, so I just want to add that some of the people that are talking that they're still pro-Obama haven't lived in the town of Ridgefield because they're beating around the bush and not getting to the point. I've been up against the establishment of a healthcare agency in Ridgefield who just has basically committed Medicare fraud and put unaccredited people in people's houses. And it's very difficult to get through to the powers that be. They don't want to know, and I think it's because Obamacare's coming in. I love some reaction.
All right, well,
Okay,
thanks
Thank you again, comment. I guess you're referring to a home care aide, a home nurse, or that's what it sounds like.
See, in this caller's case, there's a situation where there's home care that's being provided, but it's X number of dollars of home care, but they're billing 10 times X. There's some fraud unfolding, which if you ever watch 60 Minutes, you see Medicare fraud is just absolutely rampant.
Well, fraud's nothing new, yeah.
Yeah, but some would say when you have large government running things that this kind of thing happens. But your reaction to that?
Again,
And then Dave.
Wait, I'll take the pen back for a moment. I don't know I don't know the specifics of this woman's situation. I would imagine, however, that at least some of the funding or some of the cost is being paid for by a government program. So the point would being is that if she didn't have anything, maybe she wouldn't be able to afford any sort of home nursing at all.
Okay, Dave, your thoughts on this?
There you go. Well, I'm just going to jump around a little bit. Is that okay?
By all means.
Okay, so I just want to get back to that abortion doctor that made the racist comments.
Yes. Can you cite where you got that? It was it was from a newspaper with old English lettering at the top.
It's
so
the Washington Examiner.
The Washington Examiner.
Yeah,
okay,
and the video clip is right there.
This isn't the floor of the Senate where Senator Reid can go off half-cocked and make accusations. This is the Marty Heiser show, and we want to have sources, and we don't come off half-cocked regardless of outward appearances. Go
I just want to know where the outrage is on the left. Where's the? It doesn't exist. So when Margaret Sanger, who is
the Planned Parenthood woman.
Right, she was the woman that was the founder of Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
When she makes the comment with respect to blacks, immigrants, and indigents, that they're human weeds, reckless breeders spawning, human beings who should never have been born.
Yeah.
That's a founder of Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, I would say she was
she is the ultimate racist.
Man, I'm telling you,
where's the outrage?
That took hold all over the world. It took hold in Germany, and it ended up in Nazis.
Well, let me. I want to make a comment.
All right.
So let me make a comment.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what you cite? You cite an anecdotal circumstance. You cite some guy, who said something.
An abortion doctor that's a Democratic supporter.
The fact that he's a Democratic supporter, how is that relevant? I mean, it's not a.
That's why he gets a pass, right?
What he's saying I'm saying you can cherry pick quotes from people.
No, I'm saying it's anecdotal.
To prove your point, it's anecdotal. That doesn't mean that all doctors are.
So I shouldn't stoop to the left, right? Okay.
No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I mean I don't go off in every.
Okay.
I mean some of these, the Tea Party people who you just had on your show.
I find them vaguely charming. Some of them. I mean, they're from
Marty,
India. They're from
what were your
Germany. Not that the first one. Well,
what were your impressions of the guys there?
Well, let me start. When you say I want English to be the national language, and I want make sure there are laws against flag burning. When your emphasis is
on, I didn't really hear them saying that.
Oh no, the first woman, Barbara, did say that. She clearly said that.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that you're putting up points that really have no relevance. Congress adjourned recently for. In August, and they had an English as a national language hearing. You might have heard John Conyers went up and he started speaking in Spanish, which he really didn't know how to speak. I mean, the point being is that these aren't things which are really substantive issues, and they're not problems which are crying out for solutions. It's kind of like the voter suppression things that are going on in Pennsylvania, Florida, and now Michigan.
But the issues that are, and I'd like to have the last 10 minutes of the show. To talk about the economy, the persistent unemployment. Hold on one second. The persistent unemployment and who has a better plan. Is it Barack Obama, more of the same, double down on government spending? or do we have a businessman in the man of Mitt Romney who knows how to run a business? If you've ever gone into a Sports Authority or a Staples, or you need a Olympics that need to be run, you can't argue with the fact that the man does know how to dissect the bottom line. And maybe it's time for this country to try that approach rather than what we've been doing.
You know, but
that's what it comes down to. Jobs and the economy.
Well, would you argue, Marty, that a guy like Dwight David Eisenhower was a bad president?
No, I think he was a brilliant president.
Okay. He never created a job. He didn't know a business.
No, he only ran NATO, and he created NATO. And
he didn't create NATO. But yes, he was at NATO. I know that.
Yeah, and he was also the president of Columbia University.
That's also
true. And he was also a former athlete. And he was also headed up the armed forces
but did he
in World War II.
No, Mike. President on everything he voted for.
This was not a community organizer you're talking about. This is Dwight frickin' Eisenhower.
Marty, stay on point here.
I am.
No,
I'm
you're not.
No, you're not. No,
you made the point. You made the point about a person being a businessman. Dwight Eisenhower wasn't, and he's generally regarded as a very good president.
Okay, well, all right, then portray us, I would go with, or how do you guys call him? Betray us, I think was out.
That was MoveOn.org.
Oh,
yeah.
And MoveOn.org. I believe that's for. No, that's for.
What difference?
Okay, Rich, bring some sanity to this conversation, but do it quickly.
All right, Marty.
Yes, go ahead. Go right ahead.
All right. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is on Saturday at 7:30 at Common Ground, we're going to be showing a movie called The Koch brothers Exposed.
Okay, so this Saturday at 7:30, where is Common Ground?
Common Ground is right next to Brugger's Bagels, down in downtown, right next to Papa John's. And you'll be able to watch the movie for, we're going to be showing the movie.
All right, so you get a bagel, you get a little smosh there. What is it?
Schmear.
Schmear, sorry, schmear. And,
I want you to come down and, I'm personally inviting you. But what I want to get to more importantly.
Oy vey. All right, go ahead. And you see the documentary about the Koch brothers, and it says that they're rotten guys, and it says that the Bush administration got them out of some legal entanglements, and they want to burn coal and pollute the world, right?
No. What I wanted to say is to the guy on the left-hand side of the screen, and I forget his name.
Dave Straight.
Yeah, he jumped on the unions before, and I want to know what his beef is with the unions.
Excellent question.
I'll tell you.
Tells what his beef is with the unions, I'll tell you what the real beef is with the unions.
Okay. Go right ahead. What's your beef with the union?
I was a Teamster for years. I have no beef with the union. Private sector unions can do whatever they want. If they want to run their company out of business, that's their problem. I have an extreme problem with public sector unions. They don't have a place in our society. So, in terms of what was done with the GM bailout, I have a real problem with that. Because what they did with restructuring the debt, they moved the debt for the unions ahead of bondholders, which is patently illegal, and at the expense of $50 billion to the U.S. taxpayer.
It's almost like what they did with Solyndra. Didn't the bondholders, some of the Barack Obama bundlers, didn't they get paid?
Marty,
100 cents on the dollar, and then the taxpayers had to take a secondary position after that?
I'm not sure if that's true, but
I think it is.
True.
Google it.
Okay, go ahead. We wanted to talk about.
Okay, you got 30 seconds. Go right ahead.
You got Solyndra all wrong, babe.
I'm sorry. They must be still in business and a thriving business then if I got it all
And they paid
wrong.
all the money back.
Well, I asked you last time. I asked you where the money for Solyndra came from.
Came out of
You didn't know.
I certainly did. It came from the federal government, which means taxes, or we borrowed it from China, or they just printed it, which is inflationary.
Marty,
but Richard, wrap it up because I'm coming up on a hard break.
Hey, I got to get this quote in here.
Go, Richard. Your closing thought, quick.
Yeah, but Marty, you got that all wrong with where the money came from for Solyndra.
Okay. All right,
So,
get back to us on that.
Let me just, I'm
pretty sure it came.
I got the pen.
Go right
I'm going to
ahead.
read this regarding about Solyndra and payments that the government's made, okay? Fully 71% of the Obama Energy Department's grants and loans went to individuals who were bundlers, members of Obama's National Finance Committee, or large donors to the Democratic Party. Collectively, these Obama cronies raised $457,000 for his campaign, and they were in turn approved for grants or loans of nearly $11.3 billion.
Caller, are you a bundler for the Obama administration?
Washington Post.
Okay.
No, Marty, I wanted to tell you what I thought that Obama did that was, you were asking for things that they did well.
Yes, please, please.
He continually allows for drone strikes, and without any diligence or any due process, we can just kill these extremists. Meanwhile, the hypocrisy of that is that he wanted to close Gitmo. I'd like to hear our friends comment on that.
Okay, so your point is that in the one side, okay, Colin.
Yeah.
I think his point is on the one side, he wanted to close Gitmo, which at least was incarcerating these guys, and eventually they get their day in court, even if it's a military tribunal. But instead, they're going with the drone strikes and just zapping guys. You know, no trial, no nothing, just giving them the hangman's noose. Personally, I'm in favor of the drone strikes.
Yeah, I'm in favor of the drone strikes too, Marty.
But from his, like an ACLU point of view,
I understand.
he would say, hey,
I know that, Marty, but these are people who have been identified as terrorists. I suppose
By who?
if they could, hold on a sec, Dave. I suppose if they could have just arrested them and thrown them into Gitmo and tried them, they'd probably do it. But you probably can't go to Yemen. I don't think we have an extradition treaty there.
No, but apparently we have flyover rights because we're zapping them like.
Yeah, I know that. As for Dave, they have. There's intelligence. There's the CIA. I mean, there are people.
Okay, so you feel 100% confident trusting the government no matter what they do, right?
No, Dave.
There's the quote, by the way.
Freedom is never voluntary given by the oppressed. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Thanks for letting me know.
Okay.
But yeah, Moses kind of knew in that one.
All right, this is the lightning round. David, 30 seconds on what's going to happen in this election, and what we can look forward to. Quickly.
The chances of defeating an incumbent midterm is almost zero. But I got to tell you, the only thing I hold out hope here is, or look to, is that Mitt Romney right now has outraised Obama for the last 3 months in a row, and that the money talks. There's a money trail. Money counts. I think Mitt has a pretty good chance.
I think it's going to come down, a lot to the debates. It's a question really of getting the base out as opposed to appealing to independents. And if that's the case, and if it is dependent upon the debates, I think Obama will likely win.
All right, well, it's going to be very interesting. I'm still proud to be American. Hats off to those Olympic teams, especially the women's gymnastic team, the women's beach volleyball team, and also those women's sprinters and the women's soccer team. Good job beating Japan. Well done. Join us next week on the Marty Heiser Show. We're going to have a wonderful artist who's going to play for us and a lot of arguing, and just tune in because this is coming to you absolutely free.
You always get the truth.
And you always get the truth. Or we hash it out what the truth is. Thanks. We'll see you next week.